Hey people, I'm back again for part 2 of the discussion, and let's get right into it. We were just discussing and I was asking you, I ended up with this question before I got rudely interrupted, okay, by lack of space. Why is it that the government is running helter-skelter looking for funds? You know, why? But the fact is, do you know, what you guys are not aware of is that, and this is we're discussing the wealth gap between the rich and the poor, and the fact that we have this wealth divide, and the fact that the country is undergoing great difficulties as we speak, you know, the country of Kenya and other countries as well. Okay, but right now I'm focusing on the country of Kenya and also probably the UK as well, especially Wales, in terms of how can the government, you know, manage its budget in a wiser manner so as to avoid the kinds of problems that it's finding itself encountering by not being able to pay off its debts, for example, to hospitals for NHIF, the National Health Insurance Fund payments, okay, that are due to the hospitals. Because as much as you want to roll out universal healthcare like we have here in the UK, which it would be absolutely important and fabulous, it would be so wonderful to have something like that in Kenya and in the whole of Africa and everywhere in the world, where everybody would have a right to access healthcare for free or for at least very highly subsidized rates. If the National Health Insurance Fund that is mandated with managing the funds, the taxes that are remunerated, you know, that are paid by the workers of Kenya, if they don't manage that money properly, and then those workers find themselves unable to go to hospital, we're going to have a serious crisis in our hands, aren't we, guys? Yeah. So I wanted to draw your attention to something called in the Treasury Department. There is, if you go to treasury.go.ke, you will find that there's a budget policy statement. There are basically opportunities to participate, okay, as a stakeholder, either as an organization, an individual, or just a basic, you know, participant. You are allowed to comment on draft documents, such as right now, there's a draft 2023 budget policy statement. Okay, they invite you to actually discuss these kinds of documents. So, and it's supposed to be actually in the website of the National Treasury and Economic Planning Division. Here it is. I don't know if you can see it clearly, but this is it. Yeah, this is it. I'll try to lift this a bit higher. Yeah, so basically that's the Treasury website. All right, and I'm looking at the Treasury website right now, treasury.ke. Yeah, the National Treasury and Economic Planning website, the Directorate of Budget, Fiscal and Economic Affairs. If you go in there, you can see policy statements that go all the way back. Okay, various years, all the way back to 2017 and previous years. You look at the budget policy statements, and those statements are long. They're 87 pages. But if you go through them, you will find some things that already will get your attention very fast. They're PDF documents, and you're allowed to make some comments on them, and they invite you to, you know, participate as a citizen of the country in the budget policy development. Because you see, those policies are the ones that inform their priorities in terms of where they put their money, the government puts the money, and how they manage it. So for example, maybe things like when they decide to bring in food duty-free, to bring in cereals duty-free, that's something that one can comment on. You'll find in there that they'll make reference to things like the economic growth rate, and they'll mention very high figures such as 7.5% economic growth rate for 2021, and you're like, oh, are you serious? Were we growing that, you know, were we growing that seriously in 2021? So you can make comments in there. Here it is. Here it is, draft 2023 budget statement. You see? I don't know if you can see it carefully. Yeah. There it is, yeah. So in there, you'll find that, let me see if I can move down. Yeah, 2023. It's a draft, and you can see it's a draft. It's huge, it's a big document, but you can go into it and you can actually comment, and it's in Treasury. And they give you an email where you can send your comments to. And you know, apart from email, you can actually send your comments even on, you can use things like Twitter to criticize or to critique a document so that they can pay attention. If you find that they're not responding, you know, we have social media. That's what we should be using social media for in terms of engaging the government in that way. Yeah, not confrontationally, but just let them know that people are watching, people are reading, yeah, that they're not just writing things that you are going to be out there wondering, what did they just say? What is that really true? They're talking about bolstering resilience while building on successes realized over time. Eh? Kenya Kwanzaa government's economic recovery agenda. It's in here. The agenda geared towards economic turnaround and inclusive growth. Special focus will be placed on increased employment, more equitable distribution of income, social security, while also expanding the tax revenue base and increase foreign exchange earnings. Those are their priorities, guys. You heard that. Special focus, increase employment, equitable distribution of income, social security, expanding the tax revenue base, and increasing foreign exchange earnings. So now you can see why it is that they're actually trying to get Kenyans to go abroad, because they want that foreign exchange from the people who are going to be working abroad. The question is, in the nitty-gritties of things, is that although, yes, we know that the international diaspora remittances provide the highest level of foreign exchange income into the country, is it the only way that we could do this? Because you see, on the other hand, our labor force is so critical to our growth that it represents a sort of brain drain when people are underemployed where they go to work. Most of the people who go abroad to work will be working jobs that are in blue collar. They'll be working jobs that probably, they are more than qualified to be doing. Like the one I do. I do over here, I do cleaning. Although, I've had a whole career of doing evaluations and research, and I'm still doing it right now. I do it as something just to hold me up, just to hold me down. But on the other hand, I know that my specialty, my special area of training is something that is difficult for me to find work in this country. But I can self-employ myself in this particular way, like what I'm doing right now. Or I can work as a consultant. Yeah. But if you're working full-time, like the job I do is very part-time. I only work a couple of hours a week, But if I was to work full-time, it means that I will have no time to pursue my career, my professional career in any way, shape or form. And in other words, all of these things should be balancing each other out. So let's just talk about the priority programs that are classified into two categories for Kenya Kwanzaa regime. They say they're core pillars and the enablers, which are aimed at creation of a conducive business environment for socio-economic transformation. Lots and lots of grammar, big grammar. They talk about the core pillars and they talk about 5 sectors. They say agriculture, micro, small and medium enterprise. So you see, business is actually a priority for Kenya Kwanzaa, yeah? Housing and settlement is a priority to them. Healthcare, priority. Digital superhighway and creative industry. They say that to make this programs feasible, the government will implement strategic interventions under the following key enablers: infrastructure, manufacturing, blue economy, service economy, environment, climate change, education training, women agenda, social protection, sports, culture, arts and governance. Okay, to me it sounds like a big mouthful, and although I haven't gone into the document to find out the hows, this is now our opportunity to interrogate this document. It was actually Economic Recovery Agenda to Promote Inclusive Growth. It was actually drafted on 18th January 2023. So a whole year has gone by. Okay, so we're saying, have they actually achieved this? What is this strategy? Where is it going? They're talking about infrastructure, manufacturing, blue economy, service economy, environment, climate change, education training. It looks like they're going to do everything. Women agenda, social protection, sports, culture, governance. They're going to do all that to achieve the main areas, which is the digital superhighway, etc., etc. But can you tell me whether the government will be able to achieve this digital superhighway with high energy costs, high petrol costs, high electricity costs, yeah, with removing its educated workforce and sending them over to countries like Saudi Arabia, like Israel, which is actually a desert. Israel is actually a desert, guys. We have much better climate. We should be bringing those Israelis to come over to teach us how to farm if we don't know how to farm already. But I believe that we already have our own farmers, and our own extension workers who have already been very, very highly and well trained to teach us. So I think, so what I'm saying is that we should participate as citizens of the country and not just sit back and wait to hear from journalists. You yourself as a citizen should be proactive. Go in, read the documentation. I myself here in the UK, I'm subscribed, okay? here, if I go into my email, I'm actually subscribed to the Welsh government's kind of like reviews also. They also invite me to make comments on so many of their policies that they're bringing across. So let me see if I can find one example of a policy here in Wales that I'm invited to comment on. Because I registered myself and I said, yes, I want to be informed, I want to be involved, I want to also comment. Once in a while, I will send one comment. You're not required to write a very long one. You can send a comment maybe about the 20-mile-per-hour speed limit or something like that. Yeah, invitation by the Welsh government usually. Let me see if I can find it. All right, Business Wales. There's something called Business Wales here. Once you've started a business, they tell you things like looking after your employees, their well-being, their mental health. They'll send you information all the time. They'll be sending you information. Once you register on the business website, they'll be sending you information about how to look after your staff, how to do your taxes, what you need to do, how to ensure that you are meeting the requirements in terms of diversity, inclusion, in terms of well-being and mental health, in terms of energy costs. How do you mitigate energy costs as a business? They'll give you information on new business ideas. Do you have new business ideas? How to turn it into reality? So they give you so much help. And they give you contacts. They have contacts on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. Look, guys, today you're seeing my computer. You see, so they have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. This is Business Wales, okay? We have equivalent in countries in Africa, such as in Kenya. I know that in Kenya we have is it called MSEP? Micro Enterprise Support Network, or MESP, Micro Enterprise Support Program. We have that in Kenya. So they are supposed to be helping businesses, giving them this type of information. In general, what I wanted to bring up about is maybe to trigger this discussion where we're saying, let's also be proactive in helping our governments to achieve their mandate. Because if they are there and they're not going to leave and we're not going to remove them, and you're not interested in removing the government or doing something about them, then in that case, you might as well help them, if you can't beat them, they say if you can't beat them, join them, join them. But then the government also has to create space, okay, and allow us to come in, bulldoze our ideas, because they're all saying, help us, we need help. Okay, so create the platforms, create the opportunities for us to come in and help and share our ideas, because we have so many people on Facebook. I can even categorize people on Facebook, for example. I don't know much about X. But I know that on Facebook, like when I look at my friends, there are people who are in the area of law. There are others who are into culture. Okay. There are others who are into the economy. Okay. There are those who are in economy. There are journalists. There are analysts. We also have entertainment people. We have the youth. We have youth in agriculture. We have youth in. We have people who are working in carpentry, tradespeople. We have people who are in events. We have those in tourism. So we have all types of people on Facebook. For example, if one was to decide to go into Facebook and to organize these people into groups and say, okay, I'm going to identify people in various different sectors. There are also people showing us how they're making beautiful roofs on Facebook, and others who are training dogs. There are others providing security services. So to me, I see all these people as a resource for the country. It's a huge resource, and it's a young resource, and these are people who are engaged. They're engaging on Twitter, Instagram, but a lot on Facebook. So if the government was really keen, this is where they would find them. Instead of seeing them as an enemy, see them as friends. See these people as people who can actually help your government to achieve what it's supposed to achieve in a participatory manner, which would be acceptable and accepted by everybody. It's just a resource, for the government. It's just a resource, and it's just up to the government to decide. And who am I talking to? Yeah, I'm talking to the government of Kenya. I'm also talking to the governments generally all over the world to say, you need to engage people. Don't see the community as the problem. Like I heard our deputy DP saying, Gashagwa saying, there's only 1% that cause problems, Those people, we're going to deal with them. No, those people who are causing problems are the people that you actually need to bring together to let them air their frustrations and their grievances, find solutions, help you to sort out those problems, okay? And then you have sorted out the problem for like 99%, because that 1% are the only ones who are willing to speak and open up and say. Because majority of people don't talk. Yeah, there might be a few of them who are going to cause problems and fracas, but the majority are not. These are very highly educated people, or at least knowledgeable. Yeah, people who are interested in their country, who love their country to bits, want to see the best for their country. So, generally, what I want to say to us Kenyans is, let's have a different approach in 2024. 2024, there's only two ways to go about it. We either decide we're going to spend the entire year like we did in 2023, talking politics, talking mandamano, talking about how to, get rid of this government, or force the government to sit down and start listening to the citizenry. It's time for the government to sit down and have a more positive approach to the people. It's time for the government to also correct the wrongs. Because, for example, already one of the biggest wrongs of this current government of Kenya right now is tribalism. Tribalism is never going to work in Kenya. Never. You have to be seen to be completely neutral. And this is where President Uhuru Kenyatta beats everybody. Because he was actually inclusive of people all over the country. You must be seen to unify the whole country. Give people from different regions opportunities to lead. Even if it's going to be by, in terms of circulating them. You cannot have one or two dominant tribes in key positions in government. Because even here in the UK, by the way, they also look at that. You see over here we have the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. They're already saying that his background is Hindu. He has an Indian background. Then there's also Suella Braverman, who also had a Hindu background. We had Rishi Patel, who also had an Indian background. We have all these very high level government representatives or government politicians who are at a very high level. And you see, that is causing a little bit of, there's a discussion about that going on here in the UK, about representation, where you find that the people of the UK don't feel represented at the very top in many ways. So, for example, the mayor of London is not original English Brit. He's not an English Brit. Yeah, neither is the Prime Minister, neither is the Home Office Secretary, who is Mr. What's his name again? Mr. Cleverly. Mr. Cleverly is half Sierra Leonean and mixed British Sierra Leonean. So, I'm not saying that they're not British. What I'm saying is that the English want to see the English. Or should I say the British want to see their own people. The same way in Kenya, the dominant people want to see many of their own. So it's important to at least appear to be representative. So the last thing that the government should be doing right now is hiring more people from one group that when they go into a meeting room, they're speaking one language. Yeah? Because we want a country that is going to bring people together, not a country that is going to seem like it's only for one tribe or the other. Yeah, that's it. We want to work together as Kenyans. Yeah, we want to work together as Kenyans. So, going back to now the end, winding up now, because it's time to wind up at some point, yeah? I want to leave you with this quote that I received here, which I found quite interesting. And it says, this is what they say, 80% of people are living in poverty, yet they're employed. The reason why I'm saying the county needs this National Sovereign Wealth Fund more than affordable housing, you cannot impoverish people who are already down. This is somebody who says that we need a National Wealth Fund because he feels that the wealth of the country is going away, that it seems to be not equally shared amongst its people. Okay, and they're saying that you may say that you're employing Kenyans, but what types of jobs are they doing? Are they lifting them out of poverty or not? You know, there was a job that I did for the ILO at one time, a long time ago in my career, and it was about decent jobs. The issue of decent jobs is that the decent jobs ensure that it gives you a living wage, a decent standard of living. It protects your dignity. So if you're doing a job and you're still unable to meet your very basics, which also happens, by the way, here in the UK, I'll be the first to say that. Nurses and doctors are striking here because of what? Their pay is not adequate. It's not even comparable to other developed countries. Yeah. So in the UK, you'll find that a doctor will be earning or a nurse would be earning half the salary of a doctor in the US, for example, or even another country like the Netherlands or Germany. Yeah. So there is that need to harmonize salary structures to ensure that people can afford to live. People can afford a decent living. They can afford their housing, they can afford to eat, they can afford healthcare, they can afford basic education. And not just basic, they can afford education up until where they need it. Yeah. So guys, yeah, it's a very interesting discussion. I will go live if I get to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. So please watch my videos through, watch them, so that I can get my watch hours. The reason why I do these long videos is so that if somebody will be nice and watch them, I'll be getting more watch hours. I think I need to also make them more maybe frequent. Alright guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please remember to thumbs up this video. Thumbs up the video. Thumb it up. And then subscribe, like and share. All of you who are new, you're more than welcome again. All my old subscribers, hugs, hugs, hugs. This is hug season. This is love season. This is a new year coming, and I'm always positive. Let's be positive no matter what we're going through. Not to say that we're not going through anything. Whatever we're going through, yeah, let's remember to be grateful to be here. Thank you very much, guys. Much love to you. Take care. Bye-bye.